Chuck Clark basketball show here this week. So we talk about Bradley Central Bear basketball. Coach Clark, talk about some things that went on. We've got a couple of guests here too. We'll get to in a moment. Slater Clark, one of our senior captains, and also a junior, Nate Mason Rothwell. But Clark, Coach, we'd like to talk about last week's games. We had a couple of games on the road, a big district encounter down at East Hampton. The Bears come out on top there quite handily. I forget what the score was, but 75-52 I see here. We won that one. That's the second win over East Hampton. And played really good ball, and then went to Meigs County, and they are down a little bit right now. Coach Sammy Perkson, good friend and a great coach, longtime coach. He's rebuilding right now, but you guys had a couple of good wins there.
Really, the first half of the East Ham game was probably our best half of the season, and realistically, the game we continued on. I mean, we had 2 turnovers and 11 assists, and we were leading and rebounding that night. So at the halftime, and it carried over. I mean, we ended up with 17 assists, but with only 7 turnovers for the game, which is unbelievable for us. But we're learning how to share the basketball a little bit better, and we had probably the breaking point was when we ran our offense for about 15, 20 seconds, and we hit Trey on the block, and he had a spin move. They came to double, and he kicked the Sailor out in the corner here, and he drilled a 3-ball.
Yeah.
And which was they'd cut it to about 17, and that put it back to 20, and that was game over.
It was always a key in a game like that to getting a lead. I was just looking earlier today at your scoring this year. You're on a 7-game winning streak right now, and in those last 7 games, you've had at least 3 guys hit double figures, and 4 of them you've had 4 guys hit double figures. The only exception was the Meigs game, the Marion County game, where you had starters out off the floor in the first period there because it got out of hand. But and looking back, we've had as many as 6 guys. The first game of the year, we had 6 guys in double figures down in Northwest Whitfield at Murray County.
Right.
When you are getting that kind of production, they can't key off one person. And you're playing as a team. It's truly playing as a team with a team concept that way.
Well, and that's what footballers came back, and we had to get used to, coaches and staff had to get used to a different substitution pattern, find out who was working well with each other and who wasn't, and then we started learning, to build on that. And with the guys, and so once we got everything established, it's starting to come back around a little bit. But it took us, early Christmas, right before Christmas, before we started figuring out who was what, because we had Trey who got sick in that time frame, and he wasn't available to play. And let's see, who was it had an ankle? We had somebody with an ankle. Who was it?
Trey had an ankle issue.
Oh, well,
there.
Trey had the ankle too, so he's missed some time in some games.
Ashton got sick, missed
Ashton
games.
Ashton was sick, so we've had to adjust. But with when Ashton went out, we had Tucker that was able to step up, and he got scored a double-figure game when that happened. So we've got some guys who can score. We've got some guys who are feel comfortable playing with each other, and so when that happens, then
good things happen.
It really does.
Well, let me ask you. I'm going to put Mason on the spot here. Mason, do you know what your high game score is? Most points you scored in a single game?
Like all 3 years?
Yeah.
Or was it 24?
And you know which game? You've done it twice. You know which game you did in first?
Northwest Whitfield.
Very first game. I looked it up. Well, first, you done it against William Blunt.
William Blunt.
Your first game ever. And I didn't know who you were. You were a freshman. And that's when you didn't have football players. And
We
I
didn't
said,
have
who
football.
is this guy?
And,
big, tall, lanky guy, that Rothwell, who is it? Where'd he come from? We've never had a Rothwell in Bradley High School. But,
Yes, sir.
but you've had a great career, and the thing I see about you, and Sailor too, is your consistency. You guys crash the boards really well. There's nights you're not going to shoot well. And you can make up for that by hustling on defense and by rebounding. And rebounding is just a will to do it, the way I look at it. Whoever wants it the most is going to get that. But you pride yourself on, both of you, Sailor, on the rebounding and all that. You're not scoring a whole lot of points this year, But you're always there fighting,
Yeah.
getting those loose balls.
Yeah, I've kind of taken, I feel like I've kind of taken the defensive role in the team, just like taking the charges and doing the little things that not
Yeah.
everybody does.
Well, it's the details. I talked to the wrestling coaches today, and they were talking, the details. If you take care of the details, then, the big things will take care of themselves. So I think that's the same thing in basketball. Like I said, you can't always shoot well, but you can always hustle and all that. And I want to go ahead and ask you guys, you got a big opponent tonight. We're going to go across town, face Cleveland High School, which we played back in December, and we scored 77 points, I think. And any time you score 77, you think, well, we're going to win 9 out of 10 games or 19 out of 20, something like that. But they score a lot of points. I'm not sure what coach's philosophy is. I'm not going to ask him. I don't want to reveal any secrets here. But I know you guys look forward to games of that nature because it's going to be a full house. It's going to be intense, emotional. And you're as a senior, this will be your, I don't know how many times you played, Clem. It's been a lot.
Playing them freshman year, once, and then
You've been a 3-year starter now,
yeah,
haven't
I've
you?
been 3,
Sophomore.
so there's
Probably some
8,
postseason
9
games in there,
times,
too.
something like that. Yeah.
But Mason, does this game have special meaning to you, too, as well, when we play them? Or you say, oh, it's just another district game? Or
Oh, yeah, I think this is a big game, especially, to give this guy a win and all the seniors
Yeah.
going out there. Could be their last time potentially playing them. We hope to play them again soon in the district tournament, but it's definitely going to be a game of who's going to stay composed the longest and who's going to go through their offense and get the rebounds and do all the intangibles to win a basketball game.
Well, you hit on it, I think, the team that maintains their composure, because it will be emotional and intense game over there. Obviously, with everybody involved, the whole town will be there watching that. And Coach, do you coach games like that any differently? Do you just try to remind the guys, hey, guys, just play our game and see what happens?
You can tell how studious these guys are, and especially when Mason brought up composure, because we've already talked about it in practice, and he's been one of those 3-year starters too. That every time we play a big game like it, it's about composure. Who keeps their cool, because somebody's going to get fired up, and that's when you have to remain composed and do not let the game get too big for itself.
Well, yeah, it is a huge game for us. Last week we had a win over Meigs County, and as we said, East Hampton there tonight, CHS and Walker Valley. And then coming up now, we've got Friday. We'll be at home for our final district home game with Walker Valley here Friday night at Bradley, and then Monday another home game. It's Meigs County back here for a rematch of the game we just played last week, and it's going to be senior night. And you've got how many seniors?
3 seniors.
3 seniors.
Dakota, Davis, Saylor, and then Ashton Boyd. So
that's always one of those nights, it's an emotional kind of night. It's a melancholy kind of thing. You're excited for them to be seniors. The bad side is, hey, you're not going to have them on your team next year, but it's a great night to honor them.
it will be, and this will be one of those that will be even more special for me.
Yeah.
Because of this guy right here.
Yeah. Blood kin there. Yeah. And then we will finish up. We got 3 straight district games on the road at Oodawall, McMinn, and Saudi Days, which is a little bit unusual because we played a heavy home schedule for the district to start with, and then on the flip side of that, you're going to play a lot on the road there.
Right, and so, we didn't do ourselves any favors. Oodawall is playing really good basketball
Yes, they
right now. McMinn County is also playing good. They had a hiccup against Cleveland the other night, trying to run with them.
They always play us tough, that's for sure.
They do, and going up there even more so. And Saudi Daisy has surprised a lot of people. They are staying in games till the final minutes, and so our district is pretty even. You got Cleveland that's up there, and we're kind of close. But then, on any given night, you can be, you can drop one. And Oodawall had Cleveland in the 4th quarter.
Yes,
And because I was watching the video on that, and they were down at halftime 3. They were or down at first quarter 3, down at halftime 3, but they were tied in the start of the 4th quarter. So it was anybody's ball game, and so that tells you that Oodawall is just. I think they've won 1 or 2 district games, but you take the undefeated Raiders down to the wire, then that's something.
Well, basketball's a game of runs. I've heard that from you and Jason and Kent over the years, and it's usually, you know, you're going to make runs, they're going to make runs, and it's usually the guy who makes the last run, the best run, in a close game is going to come out on top. And you know, on any given night, as you say, in our district, it could go either way.
It really can. I mean, these guys can tell you when it starts getting tight that I get a little bit louder probably.
We got that ear-piercing whistle that you have.
And I don't know, guys. Do my eyes get wilder when that takes place? When they start making a run and stuff? I mean, Taylor's seen it more than the rest of them, but I would say that they would be a better judge to see how animated I could get than I would.
Well, having sat beside you many, many times when we're on the radio live, you know, and you're within 2 or 3 feet of me sometimes, you know, I tell folks on the air, I say, folks, you're going to hear Coach Clark here tonight because he's real close to me, and it's going to go over there. And you're never going to hear any profanity or anything like that, but you're going to hear his emotions, you know, and I know things can get tough. I mean, that's what you do for a livelihood, and these guys know that too, and I know they're out there busting their butts to try to get things on successful for the Bears and all that. But guys, as this season winds down, and we're literally 5 games, I guess, from the end of the regular season before we go into the tournament, which will be at Walker Valley this year, the district will be, gives you a lot to look forward to and shoot forward. Now, you're sitting here at 6-1 in the district, and the only loss is to Cleveland High School. You have a chance to avenge that tonight. You think,
Sure.
And you as a senior sailor, I guess this means more to you than you and Dakota and to Ashton as much as anybody on that team and coach, of course.
Yeah, and I've never finished first in the district after regular season, so there's a bunch of things that makes this game so big.
Yeah. Well, Mason, I know you're looking forward to it as well tonight.
Oh, yeah.
It's play your game, you know, like you said, you know, keep your composure at all times, no matter what's going on the floor. That's what you got to do, and hit some shots, slam those boards, get those rebounds, hit her free throws.
Free throws, turnovers.
Turnover, yeah.
And assist.
Yeah.
If we can do well on those 3 things, then I feel pretty confident.
You say that going into games that we want to have no more than so many turnovers, or do you have a number that you use? Or
We got an idea. You know, normally it's around 12. That anything over 12, and that we're in jeopardy of.
that's 12 possessions you've lost.
That's 12 possessions, exactly. And so, we, you know, if we can out rebound or stay even, and have 12 or less turnovers. But really, the key for us now is starting to be if we're sharing the ball and have the assists that we have, then that means that there's some guys that, like these guys, are knocking down 3 balls, and or else Trey's getting a dunk, or Q might have one, or a 3 or a dunk. So if we're getting double figures in assists, I like that part of our game, and so I look forward to. I ask about those things at halftime each time, so just to see where we're at, because let them know.
And Coach Dills, you know, he keeps a little tablet thing. He's keying in stats as the game happens. So I guess you review what he's got for you at that point to say, hey guys, we need to stop doing this or start doing this, you know, or whatever.
Well, it gives us an idea of what to really talk about, other than what we see visually. You know, facts don't cease because you ignore them, as Coach Smith used to always say.
That's a good point.
And so, if the facts are that you're getting out rebounded, and you don't have many assists, and your chances are you're getting beat.
Yeah.
You know, and
More
so
than
that's the tell-all. You know, the numbers will tell the story of the game. But and then there's times that these guys go over and say, those numbers don't mean anything. It's what's inside the chest.
Well, that's true.
And
It takes it all.
It does,
Good
that
numbers,
part of it, yeah. I
effort.
mean, you can have bad numbers, but if the effort is there, and they can overtake it.
Yeah.
And they have done that to me before.
Well, something else I hadn't mentioned yet. I was looking back. We're hitting 14-4 is our record right now. Is that correct? Yeah, 14-4. That's the best record we've had, I think, in 16 seasons, start of the year. Going back that far.
Really?
You realize? Yeah, I looked it up. Going back to Coach Smith before you even, you've been here, 7 years? But had to go back to 2005 or 6 to have a start that good. So, got a lot of things going right for you, Coach.
Well, again, even those last years that Kent was around, we always had, 4, 5, 6 footballers. And part of the thing is I didn't schedule those early games. Now I look back and it's pretty smart.
Yeah.
Before we were talking about when earlier in the year, we were talking about how it was, I didn't know how I might take, but now I look at it and think, well, it was pretty smart of me to do that. But back then, we still scheduled early and had Hall of Fame games and all of that stuff, and didn't worry about when the football players were coming. But now,
Yeah.
we do.
You've learned a little bit, huh?
I learned a little
Learned a
bit.
lot.
I learned when half your team on the varsity is football,
Yeah.
then you turn around and have to adjust.
Yeah. Well, we wish you the best of luck tonight. Thank you for being with us as always. Thank you, Sailor and Mason. Thank you. Guys, do your thing tonight. We'll take our chance with that. And good luck Friday night. Also, another big district game, and that one will be here at Brandon Central High School. For Chuck Clark, for Mason, and for Sailor, this is Gary Ownbey saying so long for now. God bless and go Bears.